What's up guys, how you all doing? Cosmic Carry here, bringing another World of Tanks video. For those of you that are new here, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. And for my regular viewers and subscribers, hello, welcome one and all. And as always, a like would be greatly appreciated. And today I shall be bringing you my tank review of my AMX 12T Tier 6 French light scout tank. This is part of the tank line, French tank line, leading up to the tier 10 bat chat that I'm currently working on. And finally we receive our first order loader in this tech tree, the very first order loader. The tank previous to this, the tier 5 ELC AMX, was the first true light scout tank in this tank line. Tanks previous to that were heavy lumbering beasts running from tier 2 to tier 4. Tier 5 ELC AMX was the first true light tank, very maneuverable, very quick, nice gun, etc, etc. And now we reach tier 6 in this tank line, and you're presented with your very first order loader, Let's take a look at those stats. So taking a look at the stats on this the AMX 12, as you can see, it has a health pool of 600 hit points, engine power 250, speed limit 60 kilometers per hour. So there's a drop there in speed compared to the previous tank, and it's a somewhat larger tank, somewhat bigger, bulkier tank than the previous one, and the turret is somewhat larger, more prominent, etc, etc. So somewhat larger profile compared to the previous tank in line. And the turret compared to the previous tank is actually fully traversal, you can go around all the way, but there are limitations somewhat when it comes to gun depression and elevation, and I'll be going over that in a second. Again, very weak armor due to the fact, you know, you can hustle, you can move. It is very lacking in the armor department. And as you can see, hull armor 50 at the front, 20 on the sides, and 15 on the rear. Turret armor 40 at the front and 20 on both sides and rear. And view range okay at 380, and signal range very decent at 750. Let's take a look at those guns. So the first package that, and only package that's really worth unlocking, as the second package, it's totally optional, it doesn't upgrade the gun or anything like that, so it's totally up to you. Gun that's available for the AMX 12T is the 75mm SA50, and basically this is your first order loader available to you as part of the French tank line leading up to the bat chat. This is your very first order loader. Get used to this gun because you're going to be stuck with it on this tank and the next tank in the tier 7 as well. So get used to using this gun. You're going to be stuck with it for a while. Rate of fire 10.8, penetration 144, damage 135. Of course, you have the option of using the premiums and the HEs. The HEs eventually I stopped using them, but the reason why basically is you're given a limited amount of shells in this tank. I believe it's 30, so you have to use those shells wisely. Pick and choose your battles, and decide where you're going to be most effective, not just for yourself but for the team as well, because you're an auto loader. You're going to be unloading those shells so fast. Between each clip, I think there's 6 shells in each clip. Yes, I'm correct, 6 shells in each clip. There's a 20-second reload time, so it's 20 seconds might sound like a lot. I mean, the death star is 24 or so, 25, 30, you know, without the ammo equipment, etc. But it really isn't that you know, what it wasn't that big a deal for me, you know, the 20-second reload time. You know, it didn't, you know, because you just pull back, you hide, etc., etc. And but you really have to, you know, micromanage your ammo, where you're going to use it. And on a couple of occasions I did come close to running out of shells, you know, because you have to really do have to micromanage the way you use your shells in this thing, because occasionally I would take shots, I'd be sniping, etc., etc. You see in some gameplay, and I get some really good, decent shots on target. But the thing is, you shouldn't be taking those shots. You know, other tanks should be taking those shots. Your shots are primarily, you know, for dueling, you know, with TDs and stuff like that. You cash them out in the open and you do the ring of death around them, etc., etc. And it's for dueling with another tank and taking advantage of your quick reload speed, the fact that you're an autoloader and you can take them out basically, you know, because you can unload 6 shells, you know, up to 135 damage a piece, you know, so that's quite a considerable amount of damage. But at the same time, you're not given that many shells, so you really need to think about how you use, you know, how to effectively manage the usage of your shells. Absolutely. Now, before we get into some gameplay, I want to demonstrate something to you guys, and that is the limitations of this gun when it comes to elevation and depression. As you can see, I'm in the tank. The battle has just started, and I'm showing exactly what I'm talking about. You know, the limitations when it comes to the gun depression and the elevation, and I'm lifting up the gun all the way it can go, and I'm lowering the gun all the way as it can go. And as you can see, when I'm facing the rear, it's very, very limited. It's very, very limited, very, very limited. And this is I'm lifting the gun as high as it can go here, and as you can see, it's very, very limited. And as soon as you hit kind of like the left or the right at the 90-degree angle, it kind of drops, you know, severely. And this is as low as the gun will go. As you can see, you know, it's not very, very good. And the elevation as well, you know, not very good as well. So keep that in mind when you're on the battlefield, you know, because occasionally, and it will catch you out, it will, you know, catch you off guard, and it has done so. And I'll showcase this in upcoming battles. Yes, indeed, Lemon Squeezy. But let's get into some battles. And here we are in Karelia, and this gameplay is going to demonstrate, it's a very good demonstration of how to use this tank, and at the same time how not to use this tank. And as you can see, it's a heavy tier 7, tier 8 game, and a little bit unfamiliar with this map, but at the same time, I know my role in this tank. I know my role, and my role is to be a scout. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be trying to do is be just that, is be a scout. Yes, of course, I've got a brand new tank. It's an autoloader, fantastic. I can circle around the bad guys and, you know, make fun of them, etc., etc. Perfect demonstration. Chaffee. Who's gonna duke it out? Who's gonna win this little mini battle here? Who's the new King Scout? The AMX 12T. But this game kind of demonstrates the fact that it demonstrates very well that you only have 30 shells in this tank, and that is very, very important. That's not a lot of shells, because it's an autoloader. You know, it lets those shells rip, you know, so quick, so fast. And this was one of the first battles where I actually almost ran out of shells, and it was not because I wasted them, but I kind of did waste them at the same time. I got a nice bit of damage, I inflicted a nice bit of damage on the enemy, but at the same time I shouldn't have, because I'm a scout, and that's where my shots should be coming from, you know, popping in and out of cover, taking advantage of my speed, and like these shots here, for instance. I mean, yeah, that's fantastic, that's wonderful, but it's not necessarily what I'm here for. I'm here to, you know, make a mockery of it, you know, the enemy TDs, and circle around them. And I'm supposed to be lighting up the bad guys. I mean, I am attempting to light up the bad guys by being here, because I'm attempting to light up the bad guys to the right and to the left by being down here in the center and taking advantage of my low profile, etc, etc. And that was my plan. My plan was to be a scout down here. Take into account that, you know, this is a new map. Some people might say, well, you're not being that effective as a scout down here, but it is what it is. And this gameplay kind of does demonstrate, you know, what you should and what you shouldn't do in this tank. And first and foremost, you should not be wasting your shells. You should be keeping those shells intact for close engagement, close quarter engagements. And definitely not be doing this, which is what I'm doing here, which is sniping. Granted, I do get good shots here, you know, they're not all fantastic shots, but I've only got 30 shells in this tank. The AMX 12T has only got 30 shells, so that says something. If you've only got 30 shells and they inflict only, you know, 110, 120 damage, that means, you know, you're only gonna get per game max, if you use up all those shells and they're all effective, you know, you're only gonna get like 3,500 points worth of damage, you know, on the enemy team. So that's saying something right there. That's why you've only got, you know, 12 shells. You're supposed to be a scout. You're supposed to be taking advantage of your speed and you know, distracting the bad guys, etc, etc, lighting up the bad guys, and making a mockery of the bad guys, you know, by scooting around them and, you know, taking them out with a couple of shots. You're supposed to be moving in for the final shot, for the final kill. Definitely not doing what I'm doing here, which is sniping. Granted, I got, take a look at my ribbons, I got 10 nice shots, yes indeed, but take a look at my shells. You know, I've only got 14 shells left, and not only that, you know, I'm running low. I'm being forced to switch to my premiums, which I don't want to do. Of course, I'll be much more effective with premiums, but at the same time, I've only got, you know, I've only got 6 premium shells, and that's it. Now, I kind of realized that that flank that was on my left-hand side that I was taking pot shots at has been shut down. And the flank that needs to be dealt with is on my right. So I scoot in, and I'm going to try and take advantage of my speed, etc, etc. And light up the bad guys, you know, for my team. But I'm hindered by the fact that, you know, I'm forced to use my shells. Carnarvon, you know, he's right in front of me. I have to use my shells. I do manage. I believe that was an ammo rack. I'm not sure. So that's good for my team. But take a look at this. You know, I'm not zooming in all the way, being forced to take my shots. You know, and I'm missing them as a result. I'm wasting my shots. And here I am with only 2 regular shells, 1 premium, and I'm forced to load the explosive shells, the HE shells. And how effective are they? You know, not very effective. If you know, if I can pen, you know, in the butt of the tank, possibly, maybe, you know, I can get damage. But I'm very nervous here. But at the same time, I'm saying to myself, okay, I'm gonna light up the bad guys. I'm gonna light up the bad guys. Being pounded from the rear. Quick, get into cover, get into cover, get into cover. But they do manage to get 2 shots in on me. You know, Sixth Sense not unlocked yet. Have unlocked it. Working on it right now. And a medium comes up, and I can't face him. You know, I can't face him because yes, I've got 13 nice shots and 1 kill on the bad guys. But all I'm left with is my HE shells. You know, I've got a bad guy on the left, bad guy on the right. I'm out of options. I've got 5 shells in the chamber. Okay, time to face the medium, the T-43. You know, it's a duel. You know, who's gonna get who first? And look at that, 46. You know, and the Artie does take me out. And it's kind of good demonstration of what you should do and what you shouldn't be doing in this tank. You know, you should be scouting 100%. Great score, you know, a defeat. You know, take a look at the enemy team though, you know. The enemy team did really, really well. And but I did well in the AMX, but at the same time, it kind of demonstrates you've only got 30 shells. You've only got 30 shells loading on your tank, and the reason why is you should be a scout. You should be out there, you know, making a mockery of the bad guys, you know, circling around them, you know, the ring of death, etc., etc., and lighting up the bad guys, kind of scooting in for that final shot to take out the bad guys, you know, etc., etc. Good game, but not a good game at the same time. So let's you think the gun on the AMX 12T is fantastic? This little battle here is kind of gonna prove what a letdown it is when it comes to depression and elevation. And as you can see, we're on Himmelsdorf, and yeah, he don't get much respect from him. Tiny little out tank there. Look, he's still pushing me, But fantastic result in this tank in this game. But I just get let down. I just get so let down, Scooting again, not being respected in my little tank. You know, just like my compadre there was pushing me along, saying get out my way. Who's focused in on me here? You know, absolutely nobody could not give a who. You know, there are no shots whizzing past me at all, and such disrespect, you know, for the AMX 12T. But cool, you know, I pick up 2 kills. I couldn't care less, you know. But this is gonna, you know, I've done this a million times. I want to scoot round behind him. T29, big opponent. I want to scoot round to his side, to his rear, and get some shots in. You know, I've done this a million times. 1 shot in on the side, 2nd shot, 3rd shot, and here we go. And look at this. Look at this. I can't zoom in. I'm forced to pull back. You know, the gun elevation just lets me down, and as a result, Artie takes me out. Artie, son of a bitch, takes me out. And I thought, oh, this is perfect. I get a quick 1-2. I'll unload a few shots into the T29, and then proceed to the Artie. But that gun elevation, as I, you know, swung my turret around to the rear of my tank, you know, just totally mucked me up. Let me down. And you got to remember that. You got to take that into account. You got to remember that, you know, you can't forget that gun elevation and the, you know, depression will let you down, especially when you're facing when your gun is facing towards the rear of your tank. You know, it will let you down. But at the same time, you know, I was in this game for just 2-3 minutes. I do manage to place 4th, so you know, there's something to be chuffed about. There's something to be proud about there. You know, it wasn't like a wasted game or anything like that. You did your job as a scout. You know, I'm talking about me here. You know, I pushed through. You know, I assisted in, you know, demolishing, you know, that flank, and picked up 3 kills, most kills out of, you know, my whole team. My damage was, you know, nothing to speak of, but nonetheless I assisted in pushing through. And I was let down, but you know, by my gun, and not necessarily by my gun, my lack of experience. But was I reckless then, pushing through there? You know, I've done that before a million times, etc., etc. And when you are in your scout, I've said this a million times before. You're not supposed to be reckless. It's a fine line between reckless and taking on challenges and pushing through and lighting up the bad guys and kind of risking your health as a scout, as a quick and nimble, little tank, and assisting your team in securing kills, securing the victory. But it's a fine line between doing that and actually being reckless, because you should be prepared to die in the scout. You should be prepared to die, but nonetheless, that doesn't mean when you do die, if you are reckless and you die as a result of it, you say, okay, it's okay that I died. No, of course you shouldn't die, but just be prepared that when you're assisting your team in taking out that flank, the price that you pay possibly might be the the destruction of your tank. Again, that doesn't mean you should be reckless. So let's do some gameplay where I don't actually die in my AMX. As you can see, we're in a tier 7 heavy game, and we're on Malinovka, and this battle, there were 2 battles coming up where I do fantastic in my AMX 12T, and this first battle is just gonna showcase, I guess, the gun. Not in particular the tank, I would say, but a great bit of teamwork when it comes to my team. A fantastic bit of teamwork. We all push together. We work well as a team. The flank kind of closes in on the enemy team. All perfectly in sync. One full wave, all at the same time, and just a great bit of teamwork. Fantastic bit of teamwork when it came to my team in this battle, and this gameplay doesn't necessarily showcase like the uniqueness of this tank, but it does kind of showcase the quick reload speed and what damage you can let rip with this gun. So anyhow, let's get into it. So as you saw, I got a few nice shots in on that T21, and my team do manage to take him out, securing our first kill. Yes indeed, Lemons Crazy. And IS come to join me. At the same time, I like it when there's a heavy close by to me, but I don't at the same time, because the bad guys, if they're shooting at the IS, if the IS is lit up, there's no way for me to know if the IS is lit up. The only way I know is, if shells are hitting him or bouncing off him, etc, etc. But if I'm right next to him, kind of hiding behind him, if any of those shells miss, they're going to hit me. So you need to be wary of that. And this tank has such terrible armor. Managed to get some nice shots in there on the enemy team as they attempt to take the hill. Push up here. Notice that all my compadres are pushing up, so I say, when in Rome, baby, no problema, and I push up with them. Use the profile of my tank, kind of hugging the ridgeline. Mentioned this before, I haven't unlocked my sixth sense. I have unlocked it last night, but during the course of these games I hadn't unlocked sixth sense as of yet. And using the profile of the landscape, to mask, myself, keeping a good distance from the bad guys. As you can see, so the bad guys, they're all lit up. This VK30-01, I thought he was gonna, pull behind that building. Luckily for me, he decides to stop. He gets taken out. Good to go. 8 fantastic hits so far. But as you can see, you know, the team as a whole is pushing up together, and pushing up together, which is, you know, what the team should be doing. Get another nice hit. And but notice in this game how when I'm not fully zoomed in, most of the time, you know, I do miss my shots. So that is very, very important in this tank, and especially when you just been mobile, when you just be doing, you know, 40 kilometers an hour, it's going to be zoomed out all the way. But you really have to let your gun zoom in all the way if you want to get a hit. Detected there. I'm not going to take any chances. Pull back, pull back, pull back. 4 in the chamber, good to go. Creep up here using the bushes. Have a little, you know, dip. Can anybody see me? Don't have that sixth sense. I'm not sure. You know, I'm perched up here on this hill, so you got to be wary. You got to be careful. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Even though I'm zoomed in all the way, that's not gonna happen. Find another easier target. There we go. There we go. Pull down to his lower plate. Yep. There we go. And you really do have to let it zoom in all the way, basically, if you want to get that shot on target. You know, when you are sniping in this tank, so to speak. You know, bad guys don't necessarily need to be lit up. Everybody knows where they are, so I don't necessarily need to do my job as a scout tank. You know, we're owning basically in this game. So fantastic game, great performance all round from all teammates, all team members, medals all around, cigars all around. Yes, indeed, lemon squeezy. 6 in the chamber, all premium. Like I mentioned before, you know, you do tend to run out. Let it zoom in, let it zoom in, let it zoom in, and you will be rewarded. Next shell is, you know, was loaded up and ready to go, but I didn't take that shot until I was, you know, fully zoomed in all the way. So good to go, good to go. VK30 win. I don't want, you know, I don't want to die in this game. Basically, you saw me pull back there. Easy peasy, nothing special here. Nice side shot. Good to go, good to go. 1 medium left. So a good performance all round, a good demonstration of the gun, how you know, you need to let it zoom in and all the way. You know, a good demonstration of how effective this gun can be. You know, how the quick reload speed, how fast it reloads. You just unload. But definitely, you know, you need to manage your ammo, because there's only 30 shells. There's only 30 shells. Pick up Master Gunner, Confederate medal, and very great game. Good performance all round. Nice long list. That's what I like. And pick up top spot. Yes, indeed. And for our final game, AMX 12T, bring this review to a close. We're on Erlenberg, and I believe there are only 2 tier 7s. It's a mainly tier 6 game, but this gameplay, this battle is really gonna showcase the uniqueness of this tank, and it's gonna showcase how to you know, play a scout, hitting that line of being reckless, coming close to being reckless, but not crossing that line, so to speak. But you're gonna see basically combination of the two, me kind of taking on the challenge and taking advantage of the you know, the good characteristics of this tank. As you can see here, this Churchill, you know, I'm not scared. I'm going for it. Unload, 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 unload. And managed to take him out. First engagement. Managed to lose, you know, what I'd say 40% of my hit points, but it was worth it. It was worth it, in my personal opinion. You know, because later on in the game, you know, as you lose your hit points, you're going to be playing a little bit more conservative, so to speak. So I want to do my part. I want to showcase, you know, how fantastic a tank this is. And second time, again, SU 152, same thing. This time he doesn't have a turret, so this is easy peasy lemon squeezy. You know, he's not being supported by anybody. First 2 minutes of the game, and I pick up 2 kills. You know, and these engagements kind of really do showcase, you know, how quick and nimble the tank is. You know, how fast the gun kind of reloads, and do manage, like I said, lost quite a few hit points. Not that many. We're good to go. You know, it's just a tier 6 game, and but pick up 2 kills. You know, was I reckless? No. You know, I faced the challenge. I took it on. You know, for my team. You know, I was prepared to take one for the team, and it paid off. It paid off. Of course, plenty of times I've done this. You know, and I've died. But this time, I didn't. You know, this time it worked out in my favor. And T1 heavy, I got a shot in on his turret, and I said to myself, nah, this is not going to work. He sees me, I see him. I'm using the profile of the landscape to my advantage, low profile, keeping, you know, hold down, but at the same time I can't get any shots in on him. So I decided, okay, use the speed of my tank and try and scoot round to his side or possibly to his rear. And he sees me, misses his shot, I auto aimed, miss my shot, and my compadres take him out. Now quickly get into cover before the bad guys, you know, get any shots in on you. And again, you're gonna see me being, some people would say reckless, some people would say reckless, but to me, I know my gun has got a quick reload speed, and I'm willing to risk it. And that's exactly what's about to happen. You know, 83 hit points left. No, I want to take this guy out. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. I'm ammo racked. No problemo. I'm gonna fix that. I'm only on what, 8 or 9 hit points. It all paid off. All those engagements paid off because I've got 3 kills under my belt, 9 nice hits. And it all paid off basically. So this is one of those instances where, you know, you came up close to that line of being reckless. You did cross it, but you didn't cross it. At the same time, I knew, you know, the strengths of my tank. You know, that speed and that quick reload speed. It's an auto loader. I took advantage of you know, this tank as a whole kind of thing. And it paid off. It paid off. It paid off. And now I'm waiting for my compadres to join me. I know I'm pinned down. We're leading 12-5 in the space of 5 minutes. You know, the bad guys have been obliterated, and I played my part as a scout, and I took full advantage of my tank, the AMX 12T. Fantastic little tank. Hello, Mr. KV1. Getting some nice hits. One more, and that's it. Pull back. Don't be reckless. It's a fine line. Don't cross that line, Cosmic. And we're good to go. And basically only 2 bad guys left. Artillery gets lit up, and I believe I don't manage to get the kill. I do manage to get a hit in. Yes, indeed. And that's it. Just 1 TD left. Good to go. Space of 6-7 minutes. Bad guys were obliterated. Great game. Fantastic game showcasing, you know, how fast this tank moves and how effective it is against TDs. Even a heavy there right at the beginning, but I did have a, you know, a full pool of health. You know, all my hit points were intact. And this is basically a race to find the final TD. Who the hell knows where he is? Nobody managed to find him. And you can see the time is running down from 1:30. He does actually, we do actually end up capping the base before anybody manages to find the last remaining TD. very nice game, very nice game. Very different from the previous game where it was like a team effort, but this kind of gameplay really did showcase the uniqueness of this tank. Pick up my mastery badge. Good to go. 3 kills. Very nice result. Very happy with this game. Nice list. As you can see, pick up 2nd place. Good to go, good to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review of this beautiful little tank. Or as always, take advantage of your strengths, protect your weaknesses. Remember, you're just a scout. You do have a fantastic auto-loading gun at the same time. You know, that armor, etc, etc. You guys know what I'm saying. I think this review has really got, you know, gotten down and dirty with this tank. Really has, you know, gotten to grips with this tank. Quite a bit of hard work, effort on my behalf, you know, to get this gameplay. Really wanted to showcase this tank from A to Z. So a like would be greatly appreciated, especially if you've enjoyed yourself. As always, take it easy, guys. Adios, muchachos.